would like in terms of drink, please just ask. They will quite happily bring whatever you require. As I say, there are no formalities. We'll have a starter. There's traditional Italian risotto. Carol will then say a few words. He wants to get it over and done with so that you don't get indigestion. And then there'll be a main. So please enjoy yourselves, relax. As I say, no formalities. Feel free to mingle if you so desire. We have family and friends here from many countries. I'll start in South America, from Mexico. Moving across to Asia, we've got Bangladesh. We've got from the UK, we've got from Russia, from Italy, obviously, from Spain, from Italy, from Holland, from little South Africa over there, from France, who've almost down to Portugal. And I think that's it. Unfortunately, we don't have some guests from Palestine, but they seem to have got lost somewhere along the line. But welcome again, everybody, and enjoy yourselves. Thank you. Well, thank you, Stefano. It's been a great help. Very difficult to do this kind of stuff remote control from South Africa, so Stefano, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say a few words. Outside, once again, welcome to our function. Thank you for taking time to join us. It's certainly an honor for me to today greet you in the name of our board and our shareholders. You are a very important part of our business. 100 years of business is an achievement, especially in the South African context. I know in Europe there's companies that are very, very old, but in the South African context, 100 years is something that we need to celebrate. Allow me some words to take you back where it all started. It didn't start with NTE, it didn't start 100 years ago. It started in 1864 when a matchbox of Acacia myrtleae seed, what we call the wattle tree, came from a country that we normally don't talk about. In South Africa, we're very passionate about sport, like many of you, and in our country, two sports that we are passionate about are rugby and cricket, and there we compete with a country called Australia. So we tend not to have too many good things to say about the Australians, but I've got to admit, in 1864, when that wattle seed left the Australian shore to come to South Africa, it was something good that left Australia. Two gentlemen, two brothers, decided to bring the seed to South Africa, to plant it, to plant the trees. It was mainly for shelter and for shade. It was not for the bark. It was only in 1884 that there was somebody who realized that they must be in the bark and that there's tannin in the bark. And that gentleman was called Sir George Sutton. He was a successful farmer and a politician in South Africa. He ended up being the Prime Minister of the British colony in South Africa, but he was the one that realized that there's something in this bark, and he sold some tons of wattle bark to a tannery in Pietermaritzburg with the idea that they should run the trials and see what they can do from a tanning process. Pretty soon they realized the value of it, and that initiated more plantings, so much so that in 1920 NTE as a company started. With the funding of Forrestal, they needed some capital. Three brothers, our three partners, had started a partnership before. In 1918 the first factory was built in Pietermaritzburg, and that is really how NTE came about in 1920. From 1920 to 1997, quite a lot of ownership changes had happened, and with that, obviously, every once in a while the company was in good hands, and then it changed hands, and sometimes it was in bad hands, to then end up in good hands again. In the 1990s, it was part of the Anglo-American group of companies, which is a very big South African company, Anglo-America, and it was part of the Mondi company. Mondi is one of the two forestry companies in South Africa, and NTE was part of Mondi. It was at that stage Mondi is very big in pulp production and in paper production, and at that stage Mondi decided that the tanning industry, wattle extract is not core business, and NTE was for sale or ran the risk of being closed. It's a saying in English, it says, cometh the hour, cometh the man. And it was at that stage that a gentleman called Bailey Becker, who some of you must have met, took it upon himself to negotiate with Mondi for the purchase of NTE. It was at that stage that the private timber growers, of which I am one of them, came together, we formed a cooperative, and we bought the 2 factories from Mondi. The deal came through in 1997, when at that stage management of Mondi, of NTE, together with 520 employees, came across to a cooperative, and ever since, this organization, this company, belongs to the people that actually grow the trees. It is only since 1997 that the wattle growers and timber growers actually participate in this business. And to me, that is fundamental going forward. I always say to the people that work for NTE, I say you're very fortunate, because if I plant a tree today, I commit myself to this organization for 10 years at least, because it takes 10 years before we can harvest. And I always say to the people, at least you know that your shareholder commits himself, every year he plants a tree, he commits himself for the next 10 years. We now do belong to about 700 shareholders, of which some of the shareholders will only have 1 hectare of trees, and some of our shareholders will have thousands or 2,000 hectares of trees. So there's a vast spectrum of ownership in our business. But for each one of those growers, I can give you assurance, each one of those shareholders, what is here tonight, the people around this table play a very important role. The tanning industry and what you do for us is extremely important for the people, for them to commit to planting trees. They've got choices. They don't need to plant wattle trees. They could plant eucalyptus, and as long as they believe in this industry, they will continue, or we will continue, to plant those trees. So, from that point of view, please understand, you don't only play a role for the shareholders, or the growers, or the people that work at NTE. You play a big role for the people that actually work on the farms. So the family is much bigger than just the NTE factory and management and the shareholders. It's all those individuals that either plant trees, that either harvest the trees. You play a massive role in the lives of people in South Africa. Our country has got its own challenges. Our unemployment at the moment is 29%. So employing people in rural areas, what NTE does and what the farmers do, is crucial from a social development point of view. To take this home, you might question what this is. You'll see there's a pen in there. Although we all work electronically at the moment, I see Roberto has still got a little paper where he writes on. This is for placing orders. Very simple. This is for placing orders, and it says NTE, and the elephant is on there, so you know where to place your orders. This little bag is for all the goodies, all the stuff that we carry around, our chargers, our flash discs, our keys. Put it in here and make sure that it's covered by NTE tanned ME product. It will look after you all the time.
Good.
And then the small elephants, those you must take home too. You might ask where the logo comes from. Why does NTE have an elephant as a logo? Originally, Pietermaritzburg in the African language and the Zulu language is called Ngungunglovu, which is the home of the elephant. So we assume that when NTE came about in Pietermaritzburg and Ngungunglovu was the home of the elephant, that's where the logo came from originally. That's where the elephant brand comes from. And the elephant is a very interesting animal. And in South Africa, it's well known, all over the world it's known, that an elephant is strong, is determined. The elephant lives a long time, they get very old, they've got a wonderful long-term memory, they do not forget. And the most important part of the elephant is they've got an extremely strong social structure. They've got a very strong family structure. It is amazing how you can see how elephants care for each other. And those are really the values that I want to leave here today. From NTE perspective, you are part of this family. And we appreciate the role you play in keeping this elephant going forward. So please don't forget to take them home. The elephant, if you want to put it back into its original packaging, you can put it back there. Otherwise, pop it into the bag and take it and put it on the desk. Keep it as a paperweight and remember this day going forward. The question you might ask is, where to from here? A guy called Renuko Rashidi once said, history is a light that illuminates the past and a key that unlocks the door to the future. Repeated, history is a light that illuminates the past and a key that unlocks the door to the future. And give you the assurance that the NTE board and management are ready to apply the same characteristics as the elephant depicted by going forward. As recently as last week, we had our annual general meeting of shareholders, together with board meetings, and the board once again confirmed that we, Mimosa, will protect our market share. And we will assist you in protecting our market share. We will also continue to streamline our operations from a functional point of view, but also from a financial point of view. And in due course, you will be notified that we are bringing the shipping and the marketing and the invoicing side of Mimosa Extract Company into NTE. It's a wholly owned subsidiary, Mimosa Extract Company. The name is out there, the brand will remain there, but you will be invoiced by NTE going forward because we don't need two sets of accounts. Just so that you take note. Nothing changes, everything is the same, it's just the email address that sends the account might be different. And the number on there or the brand on there will show NTE as well. Expand on our funding for research and development. We want to make sure that NTE, together with you, gets a competitive advantage in the market. So the board gave us assurance that we can expand, we can add resources to our research and development. We need to make sure that the technical team, Leon and Matthew, are available. We're going to make them even more available. They'll be away from home even more because we want to be present in the market. We want to assist you, talking to the customers, helping them to buy our product. I can give you assurance that I'm personally extremely proud to be part of the recent history of NTE, and I want to commit our organization to the relationship with you and your organization in unlocking the door of the future. The invitation to all of you to come to South Africa, to come see our operations, is always open. Some of you have been there. I hope you've got fond memories, and if you haven't been there, it's a lovely country to visit, and we will look after you. I invite you to be part of the NTE history going forward. Let's take it 10 years at a time. There's enough to be done in 10 years, but hopefully this organization, together with your organizations, will be there for many years to come. I really thank you for your presence, and I wish you well.
Thank you.